What if I told you there's a weapon so powerful that just one of them carries more firepower than entire nations' air forces combined? A single vessel that can project the American military might anywhere on Earth within days, turning the tide of conflicts before most countries even realize what's happening. Right now, 11 of these floating fortresses patrol the world's oceans. Each one is a self-contained military base, carrying over 75 aircraft, 5,000 personnel, and enough destructive capability to overwhelm most adversaries. But here's what most people don't understand. It's not just about size or numbers, it's about revolutionary technology, the battle-tested tactics, and the sheer strategic dominance that makes America's carriers the most feared weapons platform ever created. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why these ships make China nervous, why Russia has tried and failed to build anything comparable, and why a single American carrier battle group has more combat power than 90% of the world's entire militaries. Let's dive in. To understand why American aircraft carriers dominate today, we need to go back to where it all started. During World War II, the Battle of Midway proved that aircraft carriers, not battleships, would rule naval warfare. But here's the crucial difference. While other nations learned this lesson, only America fully committed to perfecting carrier operations over the next 8 decades. Today's Ford-class carriers represent the culmination of that commitment. The USS Gerald R. Ford, commissioned in 2017 at $13 billion, isn't just expensive. It's a technological quantum leap that other nations simply cannot replicate. Why? 3 revolutionary systems. First, the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, EMALS. Traditional steam catapults have launched carrier aircraft for 70 years. EMALS replaces them with precise electromagnetic control. This means pilots can launch heavier payloads with less stress on airframes. Translation? More weapons per sortie, faster turnaround times, and aircraft that last longer. The Ford class can launch 160 sorties per day. That's 33% more than the older Nimitz class. In sustained combat operations, this difference is devastating. Second, advanced weapons elevators. The Ford has 11 electromagnetic weapons elevators versus just 3 hydraulic elevators on older carriers. These move ordnance from below-deck magazines to the flight deck in minutes instead of hours. During combat operations, this means pilots land, rearm with fresh missiles and bombs, and launch again in record time. While enemy forces scramble to respond to the first wave, the second wave is already inbound. Third, dual-band radar system. The AN/SPY-3 and AN/SPY-4 radar arrays can simultaneously track hundreds of targets, from stealth fighters to submarine periscopes. This isn't just detection. It's complete battlefield awareness that integrates with every weapon system across the entire carrier strike group. But here's what really makes these carriers unstoppable: the aircraft they deploy. Let's start with the F-35C Lightning II. At $80 million per aircraft, critics call it expensive. But here's what they miss. The F-35C isn't just a fighter. It's a flying sensor platform that revolutionizes naval aviation. The stealth technology makes it virtually invisible to enemy radar until it's too late. But the real game changer? The sensor fusion. Every F-35C shares targeting data in real time with every other aircraft, ship, and command center in the battle group. One F-35 detecting a threat means every platform knows instantly. And yes, it can carry the B-61-12 nuclear gravity bomb. That's not just firepower, that's ultimate deterrence. Then there's the FA-18E/F Super Hornet, the proven workhorse. While the F-35 is the stealthy assassin, the Super Hornet is the versatile brawler. It switches seamlessly between air-to-air combat and ground strikes in the same mission. Armed with AIM-120 AMRAM missiles for beyond visual range air combat, AGM-154 joint standoff weapons for precision strikes, and a 20mm M61 cannon for close-in work. The Super Hornet handles any mission profile. But here's the newest weapon that's changing the calculus: the AIM-174B missile. Based on the SM-6 air defense missile, this weapon gives American fighters the ability to engage enemy aircraft at ranges exceeding 200 miles. Chinese and Russian fighters that thought they could stay outside American engagement zones? Not anymore. This single weapon extends American reach so far that enemy pilots must now operate with constant fear of suddenly appearing contrails streaking toward them at Mach 3.5. Don't forget the support aircraft that multiply the strike package's effectiveness. The E-2D Advanced Hawkeye serves as the airborne command center, detecting threats 300+ miles away while coordinating the entire air battle. Meanwhile, the EA-18G Growler shuts down enemy radar and communications through electronic warfare, rendering sophisticated air defense networks blind without firing a shot. And coming soon, the MQ-25 Stingray unmanned aerial refueling tanker will extend the range of every aircraft, allowing strike missions that once required multiple carriers to be accomplished by one. Now, skeptics always ask, but aren't carriers vulnerable to hypersonic missiles and submarine attacks? Here's the reality they don't understand. A carrier never operates alone. A typical carrier strike group includes 2 Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruisers, 2 to 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, 1 to 2 attack submarines, and 1 supply ship. This isn't just escort duty, it's a layered defense system that creates a protective bubble hundreds of miles in radius. The outer layer, Arleigh Burke destroyers with SM-3 missiles that can intercept ballistic missiles in space. Yes, space. The middle layer, SM-6 missiles that handle cruise missiles, aircraft, and even surface ships at ranges exceeding 200 miles. The inner layer, rolling airframe missiles and evolved Sea Sparrow missiles that intercept high-speed maneuvering anti-ship missiles. The final layer, Phalanx close-in weapon systems, 6-barrel 20mm Gatling guns firing 4,500 rounds per minute, creating a literal wall of tungsten that shreds incoming missiles. But here's what makes this truly formidable: the Naval Integrated Fire Control System. Every radar, every sensor, every weapon across the entire strike group is networked together. A destroyer's radar can guide a fighter's missile to a target detected by a satellite. One threat detection means every platform in the battle group responds simultaneously. No other navy on Earth has this level of integration. Theory is one thing, combat performance is another. Let's look at recent operations in the Red Sea. Between October 2023 and early 2025, carrier strike groups faced hundreds of drone and cruise missile attacks from Houthi forces. The result? Over 95% interception rate while simultaneously conducting offensive strikes against launch sites. This isn't just impressive, it's unprecedented. The carrier groups defended themselves while projecting power, proving the system works under real combat conditions against modern threats. But carriers do more than fight. They prevent wars through presence alone. When the USS Ronald Reagan carrier strike group deployed near Taiwan in 2022, Chinese military exercises immediately became more cautious. When the USS Eisenhower arrived in the Eastern Mediterranean, hostile actors modified their behavior. This is strategic deterrence in action. The carrier doesn't have to fire a shot to accomplish the mission. Consider the numbers. A carrier can be on station anywhere in the world within 7 to 10 days. It carries enough supplies and fuel for 90+ days of independent operations. It launches more sorties daily than most nations' entire air forces. Its presence eliminates the need for negotiating basing rights in foreign countries. That's why 11 carriers aren't excessive. They're essential. With global commitments, maintenance cycles, and training requirements, America needs this many to maintain a continuous presence where it matters. But what keeps these floating fortresses ahead of adversaries? Constant evolution. Unmanned combat systems are coming. The Navy is developing collaborative combat aircraft, AI-enabled drones that fight alongside manned jets. Imagine F-35 pilots commanding multiple drone wingmen on the most dangerous missions, multiplying combat power without risking additional pilots. 5 major defense contractors, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, General Atomics, and General Dynamics, are competing to build these systems. By 2030, carriers could deploy with 20 to 30 unmanned combat aircraft alongside traditional manned jets. Directed energy weapons are being tested. The Ford class generates 3 times more electrical power than the Nimitz class specifically to support high-energy lasers. Picture incoming missiles being destroyed at the speed of light. No ammunition expenditure, no reload time, just instant threat elimination. Hypersonic weapons are in development. The Navy is working on carrier-launched hypersonic missiles that could strike targets 1,000+ miles away in under 10 minutes. Combined with the F-35's stealth and sensor capabilities, this creates an almost unstoppable first strike capability. But here's the most important factor: the human element. American carrier crews trained constantly, day and night operations, defensive drills, damage control scenarios. This training intensity is unmatched globally. When equipment breaks or situations go wrong, American sailors know how to adapt and overcome. That training, combined with combat experience accumulated over decades, creates an institutional knowledge that can't be replicated overnight, even if adversaries somehow match the technology. So why does America operate these incredibly expensive, seemingly vulnerable platforms? Because they work. Because one carrier battle group projects more power than most nations' entire militaries. Because they allow America to respond to crises anywhere on Earth within days. Because their mere presence deters aggression and maintains stability. They defend freedom of navigation, the principle that allows global commerce to flow freely. When you see an American aircraft carrier, you're not just seeing a ship. You're seeing 80 years of continuous innovation, refinement, and combat experience. You're seeing the most complex weapon system ever created, operated by the best trained sailors on Earth, backed by the world's most capable support network. China is building carriers, but they're 20 to 30 years behind in technology and experience. Russia's single carrier requires tugboats to move and is mostly non-operational. No other nation has the industrial capacity, the technical expertise, or the operational experience to challenge American carrier dominance. And that's exactly the point. These floating fortresses don't just win wars, they prevent them by making the cost of aggression impossibly high. If you found this deep dive valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on military technology and strategy. Drop a comment below. What aspect of carrier operations surprised you most? And check out our next video on America's submarine fleet, the silent hunters that complement carrier dominance. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, freedom isn't free, but it's absolutely worth defending.